Hello, everybody. Today we're going to learn a little bit more about central angles and arc measures. And we know from our vocabulary and our study on Quizlet that a central angle is an angle that has its center at the center of a circle. So its vertex is right on the center of the circle, and then the angle goes out to the edges of the circle. Then the part of the circle that is cut off by that angle is called an arc. And we talked about major arcs and minor arcs. So let's take a look at some of those. And if you're in IXL, you can take a look at section U, circles under geometry. And number 2 is central angles and arc measures. I'm just going to go in here so we have a good example. Taking a second here. All right. And here's our circle. Here's our circle. So we've got circle QRS. And we know that an arc measure, or an arc itself, goes around here. And what I've just highlighted there would be arc RS. We know that a central angle has its measure, has its center, its vertex there at the center of the circle. So angle QTR is a central angle. And in this exercise in U2, it's asking us to find the measures of the arcs and the measures of central angles. And we find them both the same way, and they're both stated in degrees. So we know that a full circle has 360 degrees all the way around. And so we know then, if we start with 360 on our calculator and subtract off the two angles that we already know, 130 minus 130, we're left with just 100. So let's see if that's right. And it is. Let me clear. All right. And now let's take a look at this one, STR. Again, we've got 3 central angles. They want to know the measure of angle RUS. That's the one that doesn't show a number. So we're going to take 360. We're going to subtract off the 110. We're going to subtract off the 130. And on my calculator, that's 120 degrees. Yes. All right. Here's one that has a marking for, what's that right there? That's the marking for a right angle. So in this case, we've got 360 minus that 90-degree angle minus 150. On my calculator, minus 90 minus 150. I got a 120 degrees there. Sure enough. So we can continue on. Do this one yourself. 360 minus what? All of those angles that are listed. And I got a 95. Now I'm going to jump a level. And here is where it starts to get weird. Now they're asking us for the value of X, and they're showing us arc measures. So when they've got the degrees, written out here, it's related to the arc measure. So here, arc RS is equal to X plus 87 degrees. If they write the degrees in here, then they're talking about the angle measure. So this would be the angle. It's the measure of angle, ST, would equal x plus 81 degrees. But what do we do when we have these x's? Well, we know that they all add up to 360 degrees. So let's just do that. X plus 87 plus x plus 81 plus x plus 12 equals 360. So I'm going to take my 360 and subtract off all these numbers, minus 87, minus 81, minus 12, and that gives me 180. But how many x's do I have here? 1, 2, 3. That's 3 x's equals 180. So if I divide 180 by 3, I get x equals 60. And there we go. So I'm going to go over and share on a document that I prepared. And I can send this to you guys so you have it, so you can practice as well. But here we go. And I'm just going to go ahead and give us some room here so that we can work one problem at a time. Want to know what the value of x is. Now we're measuring angles. You can see all the angles measured there. And they want to know what's the value of x. So I'm going to do the same thing once more. 5x plus x plus 48 plus x plus 75 plus 55 is 360. So I'm going to, on my calculator, subtract 48, subtract 75, subtract 55, and I get, on the right side, 182. Now, how many x's do I have? I have 5 plus 1 plus 1. That's 7 x's. So if I divide by 7, I get x equals 26 degrees. So let's see if, oh, we're not in there. It's not going to tell us the right answer. So there we go, 26 degrees. 26 degrees. Now it won't always come out to be exact, but that's okay. You could get a decimal. It's all right. All right, I'm going to move down to the next one. Value of x. Again, we know everything must add up to 360 degrees, whether it's a central angle or an arc. It has to add up to 360. So let's add them up. X plus 37 plus x plus 97 plus x plus 88 equals 360. So I'm going to take 360 on my calculator and subtract 37, subtract 97, subtract 88. And on the right side then I'm getting 138. And how many x's do we have? We have 1, 2, 3. So 3x equals 138. And if I divide both sides by 3, I get x equals 46. 46 degrees. All right. Let's move down. Here we've got some angles. And here's where it gets a little more tricky. we've got a bunch of angles here. We've got 5, actually, they're asking us for the measure of the arc. The measure of the arc. And so the question is, what do we do? Well, we do the same thing that we've been doing. All of these have to add up to 360. So let's start with the 94 over here. 94 plus x minus 15. That doesn't say plus, that says x minus 15 plus x plus 64 plus 67 equals 360. So I'm going to take 360 on my calculator. I'm going to subtract 94. But what am I going to do here? It's minus 15 here. I need to add 15 to both sides of this equation. So make sure you see those signs. Plus 15, and I'm going to subtract the 64, subtract the 67, and that gives me 150 on this side of the equation. And how many x's do I have? I have 1, 2x. So divide both sides by 2, and I can do that one in my head. Half of 150 is 75 degrees. So x is 75, but that's not what they asked us for. They didn't say what was x. They said, what is the measure of arc UV? And arc UV is x minus 15. So x minus 15 is 60 degrees. So our answer here for the measure of that arc is 60 degrees. So make sure you're looking at the question correctly. We found x to be 75, which was correct, but the x wasn't what they were asking for. So as you get to the higher levels, they're going to ask for different things, and you need to make sure that you're answering the correct question. All right, let's do one more. This one's looking at the angles. Central angles, they all have their vertex at the center of the circle, but we know they're all going to add up to 360 degrees. So let's start here. X plus 62 plus 2x minus 37 plus 98 equals 360. On my calculator, 360 minus 62 plus 37 minus 98. I got 237. And how many x's do we have? We have a total of 3 x's. So if I divide both sides by 3, I get x equals 79. But they didn't ask me for x. They asked me for the measure of angle PSR. PSR is this one. PSR. It's our x plus 62. So if we add 62 to 79, we get 141 degrees. So this measure is 141 degrees. So the measure of any arc, and we call it an intercepted arc because it's being cut off by that angle. Any measure of the arc is equal to the measure of its central angle. And of course, all angles in a circle have to add up to 360 degrees. So take all of the angles that you know, add them up to 360, and solve for the one you don't know. Make sure that you're looking at the question to answer exactly what they're asking for. Are they looking for x, or are they looking for a specific angle measure? And then read those angles correctly. PSR, in this case, was x plus 62, even though they had marked angle over here with a red line. That is angle PSQ, not PSR. All right, if you have any questions, give me a comment either here or on the blog, and I'm happy to answer them. And I hope this was a good lesson for you for arcs and central angles. Have a great day.